Vou falar em português. Eu sou
I'm going
fã.
to ask my question in Portuguese. I'm a fan of both of you, so I'm not going to be here praising you. I read, Tatiana, one of your interviews, and you talked about speaking, naming things, naming our ancestors, and I was very touched by that. If you can talk a little bit about that, please. Well, this is something I work in my books a lot, particularly in The House in Smyrna. Alison translated it as well. It's, the question of generational trauma. Trauma that goes from one generation to the next and to the next. Psychoanalysis studies that, and I wanted to work with it from a literary perspective. Traumas that are unnamed or that are not told, they are transferred from one generation to the next. We see that a lot, with grandkids of people who have gone through a war or who had to change their identities, moved to another country, and they never talk about it with their children or grandchildren. And then the grandchildren start feeling things, having symptoms, actual symptoms that are connected to the unspoken trauma. Well, in The House in Smyrna, Chave de Casa, there's a character, she inherits the trauma, and she tries to name the trauma to sort of get rid of them as the storm, in the sense of the storm that cleanses. When I wrote, Vista Chinesa, it was the first novel I wrote after becoming a mother. Joanna herself, after her rape, she also became a mother. When I was writing the book, she already had 2 children. And it got me thinking. Naming the rape, telling the story of the rape was key for the trauma not to be transferred to future generations. And this is the image that came to me of her looking at herself in the mirror every day and seeing the raped body, feeling the rape every day. Well, if she feels the rape every day and she got pregnant a couple of years after being raped, she had twins, 2 boys actually. That's different from the book. These boys were generated in a body that was being raped every day. Somehow, in that womb was violated every day. If she feels it every day, the babies spent 9 months feeling that as well. From there came the idea of the letter. When I started writing the book, it didn't have the format of the letter. But then I was thinking about, the legacy of the trauma, the inherited trauma. So maybe Julia could write a letter to her children. Before the book was published, someone told me, well, a mother would never write such a letter to her kids. And I said, well, this is literature, maybe she wouldn't write, but it's literature in any case. And the person who said that to me thought the letter was too violent for her kids. And I thought, it's also a love letter. She's naming what she is, and they are the same thing somehow. If the kids don't receive the words, if they don't inherit the words, that can become a ghost in their lives, that can become a symptom. It will appear somehow. And that's how I had the idea. I don't know if I answered your question. Yes, you did. I've gone through something similar, and it took me a while to write a letter, but I did write a letter. But so reality came to me as well.